there's this guy who was on a Delta flight. And because I've often said this to people, what would it take? What would it take for the people who are masking alone in cars? And they exist because I see them still. And there are a lot of people masking up in California, certainly in Los Angeles area, San Francisco. I saw it in LA recently. I'm going back to New York soon, spend some time in my hometown. I'm sure there are going to be a bunch of people there masked up too, including alone and outside. You ask yourself, what would it take for them to stop doing this? Like, what has to happen for them to finally say enough is enough? And you've seen there are some efforts now to normalize through science doing this forever. They're saying, oh, but maybe it also reduces like normal flu and colds or something. It's like, come on, guys. Come on. Let's not, but they will. They'll try something really pathetic. This guy, Steve Kirsch, he is a tech super millionaire. The guy's worth $230 million. Said that he was sitting next to a woman in first class. I love this. Who, by the way, does anyone get, what bet would you put that you know who this woman who was sitting in first class, who was masking up between bites, what odds would you give that she's a Democrat? I mean, I think that you couldn't even, nobody would take the other side of the bet. I don't think there are any odds you could give that she is, that you would actually get money to come in against you on this, right? 10 to 1, 100 to 1. She clearly is a Biden voter. And he started the bidding at $100 to get her to take off the mask. This guy's worth $230 million. So for him, $100K is couch cushion money. Doesn't matter. And he got all the way up to $100,000 and she still wouldn't take the mask off. Even though he was explaining to her, you realize that you're taking, and he tweeted about this too, you keep bringing the mask down to eat for, to drink, to eat, for 15 minutes at a time, 20 minutes at a time. What do you think will the virus that you think is in the air, which by the way, on planes, you're safer from viruses than you are in almost any other congregate setting, as Fauci would say, but because of the HEPA filtration systems, which even the airline CEOs have all testified to. Doesn't matter. Democrats don't care. But how are you protected at the mask up in between bites? And this is why I always thought mask up between bites was so important. That was always the airline policy. It was never, ever wear a mask the entire time you're on the plane. Even that wouldn't work, but wear the mask partially in between bites at different periods on the flight. If you believe that an aerosolized virus is something that you can't see, that it's just swirling around in the air, this was completely insane. She wouldn't take him up on 100. Now, of course, what are the libs saying? Oh, they didn't think he'd actually pay. Well, she could have. I'm sure the guy's probably got a couple of grand in cash on him. Probably could have said, well, I want you to pull out a Venmo at the end of this. I'll get a witness. I mean, if someone told me, first of all, I'll never find a photo of me with a mask on anywhere. You won't. And second of all, I'm not wearing a mask on a plane, obviously. But, I would say, if someone was going to pay me this kind of money, I would at least get a witness to it and say this was a verbal contract and try to hold them to it. But anyway, it's not worth it to her. It's not worth it. I would let someone give me COVID for $100,000.